back to my channel. My name is Laura, and today I'm pre-recording Top 5 Wednesday. And the topic is self-published books. Now, I didn't know what a self-published book was, so I went on Goodreads and I searched for self-published books, and I found it on Listopia, where they have books of lists of books. So when I was looking at all the books that were in that list, I have read only 4 books by self-published books, self-published authors. So I am going to share my 4 books that I read, and then I will share 1 book that I want to read. So 5 books. So coming in at number 5 would have to be the book called Switched by Amanda Hocking. Now, I read this book back in 2013. I just went to my shelf to see if I had the book, and I have it. I have the trilogy. So I have this edition. I have this edition that has Switched to 1 and Ascend. Now, I only have read the first one, and it's 3 books in 1. And when I looked in my journal, this is my journal from 2014, I read this in 2013, so I didn't really write any notes in here. So all I wrote in my book was it was a 4-star read, and I read it very quickly. So I read it December 28th. I started it, and I read it till January 6th. That's pretty quick for me. And I also wrote in my book that I want to read book 2 and book 3. So now I went on to Goodreads, and I just want to tell you a little bit about, it's just a little blurb that they have for book 1. So book 1 says, Wendy Everly was 6 years old, and her mother was convinced she was a monster, and she tried to kill her. So, and then it says it isn't until 11 years later that Wendy finds out that her mother might have been true. So I thought it was pretty cool. It was very fast read, and I gave it 4 stars, and I do want to continue the series. So, yeah, I liked her writing style. And again, I read this in 2013, so if I had to pick it up again, I would have to read book 1 again, which that's why I don't really like series. But yeah, so I would have to read this whole entire book again just to get through it. Maybe I'll skim through book 1 and then go through 2 and 3. So this is the first book. Okay, coming in at number 4 is a book that I read also, and it is by Colleen Hoover, and I didn't know that it was self-published, but it says on that list that it was. It is called Hopeless, and it looks like this, and I gave this book 5 stars. This one is, I listened to it on my audio, and I also read it on my Kindle, and it has adult content in it. And there is a surprise in it, which that I least expected, and it kept me reading, and I really enjoyed it. Again, I gave it 5 stars. So, and I read this back in 2014. Coming in at number 3 is a book that I read in the beginning of 2015. It was Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire, and I gave it 4.5 stars. It looks like this. And in my notes, I wrote here, it's a roller coaster of a read. So, what I mean by that is I had tears at one point, I got mad at one point, I got annoyed at one point. So, yeah, and it's about a male guy named Travis, and he is an abuser, and he is a boxer, and he is also a womanizer. And then there's a girl named Abby, and she's running from her past, and she has a big secret. So there's lots of violence in this book because it is a boxing book. In my notes here it says alcohol, sex and language, suspenseful ending, and it kept me reading and hope to read the next book. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4.5 stars. It is not It is a new adult, so there is sexy times in it, and it is not a lot of people put this book down because it's not, I can't think of the words now. It is not a healthy relationship. I couldn't think of the words. Yeah, so a lot of people put this book down, but I did enjoy it. It is a very good book, and that's it. That was my number 3. The last book that I read that was a self-published author was Angel Fall by Susan E. And I gave this book 5 stars, and it looks like this. And I'm going to read you my notes because this book was amazing. Actually, it says I got this from Prime. It was on my Kindle, so I don't have a physical book. And I read this back in 2014. And I wrote here in my notes, wow, what a book. Angels that are not sweet, but bad. Fast-paced. It's sci-fi. It has war. It's pretty frightening. It's creepy and at some points gross. It's an awesome read. It kept me reading very fast, and it was really good. So, yeah. And I did read the second book. I do need to read the third one still. But I did read the second book after this, and it was as well as amazing as the first book. So, yeah, I highly recommend if you like angels, but these are bad angels, and you want to read something bad and frightening. Yeah, I really highly suggest read this one. It was really good. Okay, on to my last book, and this book I did not read yet. This is something I want to read, and I actually went down to my bookshelf and tried to find the book, and then I went into my crates and tried to find the book there, and of course I couldn't find it, so I just went on to my Goodreads, and I'm like, I know I have this book. So where do you think I have it? I have it on my Kindle. So anyway, the book that I want to read is called Reason to Breathe by Rebecca Donovan, and it looks like this, and this is on my Kindle, so I knew I had this book, I just couldn't find it. So this book, it seems to be, I'm going to read a little bit blurb from the Goodreads group. It says, Reason to Breathe is an electrifying page-turner from start to finish, a unique tale of life-changing love, unspeakable cruelty, and one girl's fragile grasp of hope. And when I was reading the thing, it takes place in Connecticut, and it's about a girl named Emma, and she kind of has bruises all over her body. I don't know why or how, and she covers them up. So yeah, and then she finds true love somehow. I guess the story tells you about her story of how she got the bruises or what happened to her. It sounds kind of interesting, and I haven't read it yet, but I do have it on my Kindle. So, and it is also book 1 of the Breathing series. So it is a series. So yeah, so those are my 5 books. If you have read any of these, let me know if you read them or not. And if you have read Reason to Breathe and you liked it, please comment below and let me know. I will eventually read it one day. So it is on my Kindle. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye!